Welcome to The Clean Truth, where we like to call bullshit on the status quo. What's up? Welcome back to another episode of The Clean Truth. I'm Don. Boy, we got a lot of beef in the room.
Big crowd today.
Big crowd. You got a wide enough lens? Can you see us all?
Need that fisheye.
I mean, if John leans up, he's going to swallow Ben.
I'm just kind of like hiding down here because this monster beside me is, we're sharing a mic today, so I'm just going to pass it off to him most of the time.
All right, today's show is, it's a little multifaceted, I guess is a good way to put that. But so we've always joked around about the four of us. You know, we've called ourselves the Four Horsemen. It's kind of full-blown D-bag, but I mean, I kind of thought it's been funny for the last 2 years,
fits,
so
yeah.
screw it, I don't care.
I like it.
But one of us is going away, so my question is, why in the hell, like this, how old is this? We've been doing this podcast for what, over a year? Almost 2 years? Why is this now the first time the four of us have ever done this?
I don't really have an answer to that. I think
I was thinking about that when we were driving in. I'm like,
we always talk about the podcast, but we've just never really been on the podcast together.
Yeah. And I feel like when we're all together anyway, we all talk about most of this stuff on the podcast anyway. So
four big dumb meatheads. That would have been damn funny. We should have done this a long time ago.
We have these conversations over polo most of the time.
That is
and then,
true.
And then they just don't make it on here. Yeah.
Big John, you're moving to Seattle, man.
Yes, sir.
Why in the fuck did you decide to move to Seattle?
Good timing too, by
Yeah.
the way. Hey, great sales pitch by Seattle right now.
So what we did, we took a dart and just threw it at the map, and
That's
it
where
just
it
hit
hit.
Seattle. Yeah. So no, we just, Sierra and I decided whoever had that job opportunity first, we would kind of take it, and then whoever the odd man out would figure out jobs and stuff like that. Been all over the world, but never been to the West Coast. So I was like, well, let's see what happens. Applied to jobs all over the place: Oregon, Utah, Iowa. Don't know about that one, but yeah, she got a job, and the job offer came like a week later. Like, oh shit, well, let's go. So sold all of our stuff and leaving next week.
I've been there. Yvonne and I did it, but before we get too far into that story, nobody brought anything for show and tell, so we can't show and tell anything.
I mean, I didn't.
We
know
dropped the
had-
ball on this one.
I didn't know that was a requirement.
Your Yeti is still.
Yeah, but you can't show and tell a Yeti. Everybody's got a Yeti. We didn't bring anything cool. I don't know. And we also didn't do Truth or Dare.
We're extremely bad on the truth or dares. Like, people are going to stop giving us truth or dares if we don't, like, hurry up.
I know,
and,
we're still two behind.
and
We haven't
do
done the
these last
burpees.
two. Burpees and the surfing.
I want to see Big John on the surfing. Like we missed the ball
We
on
can
that
do the
one
surfing
too.
one today. I don't care. I got to work out later, but
No matter what, we just got to get them done.
All right, well, normally it's kind of customary that at the beginning of every show, we always bust Ben's balls about something, but I'm going to change it up. Kyle is sitting right here next to me with a war wound on his forehead.
Yes. Yes.
If you guys are watching the YouTube video, it sticks out.
Tried to watch the.
It's like
or
a
wear the
bullseye.
hat. Yeah.
Yes.
It's
Tell this story.
It's the
I
Harry
wanna know.
Potter look. It's very in right now, No, so we went up. I guess it was last week. We went down to Mayo. My wife is from Mayo, which is, you've never heard of it, but it was actually on a commercial for what was it, Miracle Whip. They turned it into like Miracle Whip, Florida, as opposed to Mayo, Florida. But it's in between Gainesville and Tallahassee. It's the most cut. There's one.
I don't even have words.
There's one light. There's one light there. Shout out Mayo, Florida. There's one light in the whole town. There's probably like 600 people. Where my wife is from. But we went out and we went shooting, and like I hadn't shot a gun in, I don't know, years. Just didn't shoot. Like don't have like a rifle or anything. And went out there and got a little scope bite. Got a little close to scope, and
What
You
kind
learn-
of
you learn your-
gun
you
were
learn a lesson.
shooting?
30-06.
Oh,
Just a little bit of kickback.
a little bit.
It was on the side of a truck.
Of course.
Didn't, you know, shoulder.
Exactly how
I think
close?
I think I did shoulders the day before, so the shoulder was a little sore. I had to get the shoulder back.
Exactly how close did you have your freaking face to
It
the
wasn't
scope?
touching,
was it like
but I
on
mean,
it?
yeah, it was. You got.
He thought they were binoculars, Don. Don, he thought the scope was like binoculars.
I can see it.
I got him in my
Looks
sights.
like a squirrel. I'm gonna shoot it.
Wow.
Oh man.
Yeah. But I knew, like, so my father-in-law is like a country dude, total badass, and like real non-emotional, right? So, I mean, like I asked him for his daughter's hand in marriage. He did our speech at our wedding, everything. No crying, like no emotion whatsoever. Like just a stoic guy. I turned to him after I took my eye off because it kicked back and it hit me hard. But I was playing off like, no, it's just like, it's good. Like you just swallow it. Like you're good. He didn't see it. Like it happened too fast. He didn't see it. And I turned to him and his eyes just got like, oh. I was like, oh God, it's bad.
You're trying to play it off. Meanwhile, you got a gash all over your face.
And then you just feel it start coming back down. Like, oh, it's not good.
I'm cool.
I'm gonna be all right. I'm just gonna go walk over here real quick. Just take a couple breathers. Yeah.
Jeez.
So, didn't get stitches though. I mean, the hospital's like an hour and a half away.
I was gonna say, was that because the hospital was too
along with
far,
the closest
or?
grocery store and the closest fast food restaurant? But it was all right. Put a little Band-Aid on it. War wound.
Funny as hell.
Sounds better if I say like I got hit by a bobcat or something like that. But.
Well, let me start this by kind of explaining the dynamic between the four of us and how this came to be about. I mean, if you follow us on social media, you see all the stupid shit we post all the time. But I think it was 3 years ago that I met Ben in the weight room, and this is kind of the lesson that I'm going to tie into this podcast, and it's just going to be culture, basically, for lack of a better term and explanation. But I got introduced to Ben through the baseball program. The baseball guys ate at the cafe all the time. They came in and they ate, and Yvonne and I would always give back to their dugout program every year, and just getting to know those guys. Are awesome dudes. When you took over there, Randy Hood introduced me to you, and the first few times that I went into that weight room, like, I'm not going to lie, when I walked in there, I'm like, holy shit. Because it was like something that I was looking for here before we started building what we've already started to build.
Right.
If that makes sense. And so, like, when you walked in there, you could feel the tightness. You know what I mean? You could feel the ambiance and the atmosphere. And me being a competitor and former athlete and everything else like that, you're instantly drawn to that. You're instantly attracted to something like that. So that's what kind of formed this bond, was me getting to know Ben, getting to know Kyle, and then John was one of your interns there, and just forming that relationship, through there. And then our wives got to know each other, and then from there it just became a big family. Until, was it last year?
When's that?
Almost a year and a half ago, I guess, now.
Right.
That you guys left the university. There was some
coming up on a year. Coming up on a year.
Yeah.
I say that I could walk in there and I could feel the tightness. The athletes, I've talked to athletes outside of that gym, away from you guys, and I think they're the ones that respected that the most.
Right. It was. I mean, you said a lot of things right there, and you said that you were really drawn to that culture that we were building and that we had, but at the same time, that was intimidating to a lot of people. And
was it though?
It did steer multiple people the wrong way, and I think that kind of goes back to what you just said as well. Like, you like competition, you like that camaraderie. Well, there's a lot of people that are intimidated and scared by camaraderie and
competitiveness,
and in a competitive nature, which at the end of the day, we were very accepting of all people, loved all people, very welcoming. We wanted people in there more than wanted them not in there. And we found that was almost intimidating to a lot of people.
But we also saw that we needed to shake up the status quo as well. I mean, that was one of the things that I think we were tasked with early on. And I think that's something that if you ask somebody to do something and you get that person that's going to do that, then you better be like, if that's what you ask for and you get that right person, then that's what you're going to get. And I think that sometimes, you got to careful what you wish for type of thing.
All right, well, I'm going to go down a completely different freaking path, Mr. Nice Guy, because I can tell what you're trying to do, and I'm not going to let that one slide. Yes. So we won't mention any names, but there was part of the staff there, part of the university that did not accept that culture. And for me, being a business owner, I can name 10 other guys that would get in line behind me that you can't buy that. I kept saying that. If you remember a year or so ago, I told you guys, you can't buy what you guys are building in here. There's no price you could put on that. So, to me, when you say it intimidated people, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like,
You're right.
look at where all three of you guys work now.
That's what it was. I think that's what it came down to, and that's what drew me so much to these two when I first started, was because we didn't give a shit. Like, we were never disrespectful. We never hurt anybody. We never attacked anybody.
Right.
But we were loud. We blasted the music. Yeah, we took our shirts off. Yeah, we talked shit to each other. But how else do you get better? How else do you get stronger? I attribute the strongest I've ever been in my life to being with these two in the weight room. When I squatted 600, I was benching over 3. Like, I've never been that strong, even when I was playing football. But it was because we talk shit to each other because we're loud. It's not all talking shit, but it is a lot. But then everything is like, all right, man, you got this. Let's go. All right. Hey, man, I'm tired today. You're not fucking tired. Let's go. Take a double scoop of pre-workout. Let's put on some heavy metal music, and let's go. And to a lot of people, especially in today's culture, are intimidated by somebody that's loud. You know what I'm saying? If somebody's loud, they're like, oh, he must be intimidating. And, obviously, then they see, 3 monsters. I'm covered in tattoos, which doesn't mean anything. But a lot of, today's society, a lot of people see that as scary or intimidating. So I'm not saying I understand it, but I can see how that happens.
Well, I think, too, that we took the approach, and that was how me and Ben have the same mentors. We came up through the same coaching tree. And, we kind of took the approach of everything we do is going to be difficult. And it's going to get more difficult as we go through it. But at the end of the day, across collegiate athletics now, you've gotten to a level where everybody clean and jerks. Everybody squats and benches. Everybody deadlifts. Everybody, at the end of the day, you got little fine-tuned, principles, but it's at the end of the day, you're going to have some kind of strength and conditioning program. It's the difference is when it's the bottom of the ninth and it's a full count and you're up at the, to bat, do you feel like Superman because of the training and everything, and you feel like you got a 9-inch, and you're ready to go? Or are you questioning yourself? Are you up there? You got a little doubt in your head. That's what we were trying to cultivate, because that's the difference maker at the end of the day. When we were at UCF at the same time, they would talk about that all the time. Like when it's 4th and 1 and you're on the 2-yard line and you're down by 3, down by 4, whatever it may be. Like, are you willing to make that sacrifice? Are you willing to go across the middle? Are you willing to take that cut block? And that's it. That doesn't just happen overnight, and that doesn't just happen with adding 100 pounds to your squat. Like, that's a mentality thing, and it's tough to change people's heads.
Well, to me, I translate that over to here, and now all 3 of you guys work for our company, which was my ultimate. Like, I wanted
what you
that
were doing
here.
here.
You know what I mean? I wanted that here. So now that we have it, I translate that over to here. So, like, going that extra mile, doing whatever the hell it takes, and busting your balls and putting your what in the sand, that translates over to business and the work life too. And then I know that you guys were influenced in doing what you were doing there from bigger universities. Right. That's what always made me laugh about some of the things that you guys went through during that whole issue, which we won't get into that. But, when you guys were going through your little tribulations there that ultimately left you guys leaving the university and coming over here, I was sitting there thinking to myself, I'm like, okay, they're at UNCW in North Carolina. Like, what would happen if these group of people that were having an issue with this culture were in, like, Clemson or Alabama or LSU? They'd get laughed right out of the freaking room. Like, it would be, zero fucks given.
Have you seen the former strength coach from University of Alabama?
I have.
He kind of has a reputation for a little bit of a scary mentality, scary voice.
Yeah.
So
and getting back to what you were saying a minute ago, when I said that I've talked to athletes and everything like that, the one thing that comes to mind is the women. We don't even have to talk about the male athletes. I'm talking about the women, which ultimately I know you were most of the women's basketball coaches, or the female basketball coach. You were there. You did their programming.
Correct.
Those girls would go to war and throw spears for you.
Oh yeah.
I know that because I've talked to them, and they've said that. And I know that when you guys went through that, they were pissed off. There was a lot of them that were like, "Screw it, we ain't playing."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that comes down to too. It's a lot of times like when you're going through that kind of stuff, like nobody enjoys like you talk to the SEALs, you talk to like these military personnel. Like nobody likes Hell Week. Like nobody likes going through boot camp and going through it. But at the end of the day, it's what you look back on. You're like, oh yeah, like I get why I understand why we did this now. You know, I mean, when you're going through it, you know, former collegiate athletes, like you know what you're going through. And yeah, when you go home, you're like, damn, this blows. But at the end of the day, when you're going through the season or when you look back on your career, you're appreciative that you went through those trials and tribulations. And somebody has to make it hard, you know, for you to, you know, develop a scar and develop a little bit of, you know, bravado when you walk in there. And that was, that was the thing, you know, working with those women's programs. Yeah, I mean, those were some bad girls in a couple of those things. And it was awesome too, because, you know, one of the things as a strength coach you take away is who goes on and create, continues not your legacy necessarily, but, looks at you as a mentor. You know, I had 2 former women's basketball players go on and be strength coaches, which is one of the things that is one of the proudest moments that I've had. That they've gone on and
Ashley, right?
create. No. Mo and Julia. Yeah. Julia is currently at North Carolina, and Mo is about to start up at Townsend. So I mean, it's things like that not only do they appreciate it, they looked at it like, oh man, I could do this as a career, and that's something in strength and conditioning. You know, we need more strong females like that. I talk to, Ashley at Duke all the time. I talk to Anna. She was at DePaul. Now she's working for the U.S. Army. But I think that's, the ones that still have the same mentality that we have. I think that's it's good that females are starting to get more and more involved in that as well. Because that's, it's not just like Barbie dolls and stuff like that anymore. I mean, it's like there's some badass girls out there too.
No doubt.
Yeah.
You guys miss coaching a little bit, don't you?
I'm not gonna lie, I miss it every fucking day. Just because I'm nowhere near the level they were at. I came in straight out of the military to school, and then I just lucked out that right as I was coming in, like Ben and Kyle came in to the program. I was like, oh sweet, and not even knowing, their experience, but I got to learn from their experience.
Sure.
So I didn't, and they, I earned my way to get their respect, and then they gave me more and more responsibility as time went on. So, but really, I've never really been a strength coach, like a full time, like they have. Yeah, of course, yeah. But like what I'm saying, like went to a different place and went through the whole process. And sometimes it comes out a lot, like just how I talk and just who I am. And I think that's back to what you said earlier. With all this stuff that went on, I believe it stems from inherently who you are as a person, regardless if you're business or sports, right? If you're not willing to, okay, work starts at 6, I'm going to get there at 5 to set up. Or something as simple as, oh, the laundry basket's broken, let me get a new one instead of fumbling around. You know what I'm saying? Something like that is who you are as a person. You can't think you're going to come in and, okay, as soon as I walk in the door, I'm going to be the best strength coach, and then as soon as you leave, turn it off and be someone different. If you can, good for you, because you're able to battle 2 personalities. But to me, I'm not that smart. I have to be the same person because I can't. Okay, I got to be this person here, this person here. And if you're not inherently a good person and want to go above and beyond, it doesn't matter what you're gonna do. And that's kind of, I think, a big issue we ran into is like, this is who we are. When we're drinking beer, when we're hanging out, we're the same people we are when we're squatting 600 pounds.
Absolutely.
When we're with our wives at church, like we're always the same people. So I think that was a big issue too.
Something is telling me that Big John is not the same guy at church with his wife that he is when we're on the beach and he's had about 12 Trulies.
Stand up.
When
Let's
he-
go.
When he's
go.
praising,
Hey, man.
yeah.
I don't think he's patting the pasture on the butt and giving him an attaboy.
Hey,
Hey, if he deserves it.
It was
if
a
he's
good one this week. It was a good one this week.
serving, why not?
That was funny.
I mean, I don't know where you want to go with this. I mean, I have a lot of emotions, like, still about how we left,
No, fire away. I don't have a route.
like, and everything like that. And
My overarching point was, and the takeaway at the end of this will be, it's all about culture. No matter what you're doing, you have to. It's culture and relationships. Relationships, I guess, is a better word. I shouldn't use
right,
culture, but relationships with people is everything to me as a business owner. That's what it's all about. And whenever, again, I mean, I'll say it 15 times in this podcast. When I got to know you guys in that weight room, I knew that I wanted that in my business.
right. So let's get down to brass tacks. Why did we finally make that leap of faith to get out of a profession that was comfortable and come work for Don and Yvonne Verity? Why did we do that? And I'll get emotional about this because, to me, when the things that we were going through at UNCW, I sat back and thought to myself, it's not about the money. I've made moves from Mississippi, from Kansas to North Carolina, for linear money. And to me, I got fed up and I get shaky. I was tired of it because I was unappreciated. I might have been appreciated by the kids and some of the support staffs, but the people that were writing your paycheck at the end of the day, who had the total control, I felt like the appreciation wasn't truly there, or they were too scared to show it and express
You were a budget.
what I was doing was the right thing. Because they didn't want to get aggressive and stand up for what they believe in. And this goes back to a lot of things that we've talked about on this podcast. And the thing that I love about working for you and Yvonne is that I'm appreciated, and that it's not money, and you're not even an emotional person. So you don't just slap me on the butt every day and say good day at work, you did a freaking great job. That's not what it is, but you show it in other ways, and it's not monetary ways. You've never just handed me money or anything like that. But there's something about working for you two that when I leave at the end of the day and I come to work the next day, that I feel I know in your heart that you appreciate the work that we do for this brand. And that's when I left. I mean, that's when I've left multiple different things. It's because I'm going to leave something better than the way that I found it. That's how I've been raised. That's how I am. That's why I'm OCD. That's everything about me, is I'm going to leave something better than the way I found it. I'm going to put everything I've got into that. And when it came to a time, it was October, we're saying a year ago, I came over to your house and we talked, you, me, and Yvonne, and I was emotionally, I got emotional then, just like I am right now. I was Don, fuck it, man. The juice ain't worth the fucking squeeze. I can't keep doing this.
Lynch is charging you for that one.
Yeah.
By the way.
I can't do it. And that's what it all comes down to, is it's are you doing something on a daily basis where you feel like you're appreciated? I don't care if you're a plumber, electrician, car salesman, whatever it is, do you feel appreciated in what you do? And that's what kind of led to where we are right now, is I felt like between myself, Kyle, the young intern, coming out of the military, working for nothing, doing 40 hours a week of internship, we weren't truly appreciated, deep down inside. Like you said, yeah, there was plenty of athletes and support staff that were appreciative of us, but at the end of the day, the people who made the decisions, didn't appreciate it. I mean, I don't know what else to say. I mean, that's plain and simple. Wasn't about the money. It wasn't about anything like that. It was about how do we feel leaving on a daily basis. And
I get it, man.
I wasn't going to work for somebody that was going to leave me like that.
I think they're going to see, and them and then anybody else that this happens to, it's one of those you don't realize what you had until it's gone. You know what I mean? Like I feel like whether it's this coming school year or whether it's next year, whenever this happens and they don't have that anymore, they're going to be like, damn it. You know what I mean? Like, because guys like me are going to see that from the outside, and I'll come in and swoop it up every day. You know, and it's just, like I keep saying, there's not a value that you can put to that. You can't buy guys like that with a mentality like that. There's no price you can put to it. I mean, salary numbers, yes, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
right,
you can't, the internal value is there, and it baffles me that stuff like that happens, but it does. I mean, and going back to what you were saying, I think not only do you have to feel appreciated, but it's got to be something you want to fucking do.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't ask you guys to come here and do a job that you don't want to fucking do. You know what I mean? When you took the job over there at Leland and doing what you're doing, what I told you, the very first thing I told you, you're not staying here very long. Because you're meant to do more things than just sit over there and sell meals. You know what I mean? Like, even though we've had a lot of sidebar conversations about you going and doing something with plumbing because of what your experience is, but you're like, dude, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. Well, okay. You know what I mean? Like, would you make a hell of a lot more money?
Yeah.
Probably.
Oh, yeah.
But like Ben said, it ain't always about the money.
Correct. And that's 100%. I mean, I worked for you for 3 years. Like, first 2 years, I didn't get anything, which is fine. I understand the process. I'm a little bit older. I understand what it took to become a strength coach, and I was all in. I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And, I got excited about it. Like, yeah, Ben was like, hey, we're going at 5 o'clock in the morning. Let's go. Hey, Kyle texted me like, hey, we're having beach workouts at 5 a.m. That means I got to get to Wrightsville. Okay, cool, let's go. Like, I'm bringing everything's set up. I'm flinging the car door open at 5 o'clock in the morning, screaming, and the girls are like, who the hell is this? But I loved it. You couldn't tell me no different. Like, if you asked me, I was like, hell yeah, I'm a full-time strength coach. How much you getting paid? Don't worry about that. I get all the protein shakes and high fives I want. That's all I need. You know what I'm saying? But I love it.
I get paid in Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
Yeah, I loved it. Like,
I got Gatorade shakes.
Yeah, but it was, to Ben's point, yeah, I mean, in every job you're going to have days like, well, today sucked. But there was a lot of people that, even on my level, I was the bottom of the totem pole, still appreciate it. Like Burke and Lynch would come in. Something as simple as, hey, man, here's a pair of socks or here's a T-shirt. I know that obviously everybody's tight and, what they can give, but they always went out of their way to either just come in and say, give me, dap me up, give me a hug, say, hey, man, I appreciate you moving the air bikes to the gym today. And I was like, okay, like, these people get it. Not everybody was like that, in which I understand, but the little things like that, like especially those two that stick out the most, they always went above and beyond. Burke, you know how Burke is. In the middle of practice, I would walk in just to watch. He would come over, dap me up. Hey, man, I appreciate what you did with the boys this morning. And then sprint back to the court and start screaming. Like, he didn't have to do that, especially me just being an intern, kind of, back of the house guy. But I always appreciated that. And that is what kept me, okay, I need to keep doing this. Besides these two, every day, that's something like, okay, this is what I was meant to do. So Ben is right on with that. Didn't come from everywhere, but the places it did come from meant a hell of a lot. To me, I don't know about these two, but to me it did mean a lot. So,
well, I think from, one of the things that we haven't even brought up yet is people from the community who see that and are attracted to that and are willing to donate money to that. Between me and a friend of ours, we almost rebuilt the entire strength gym. I was ready to do that because of what I saw in there, and I believed in it so much, and I loved it so much that when when you brought this to me, I remember that I was like, fuck yeah, like. It had nothing to do with it was nothing to do with like recognition or me needing to be thanked or having my name on the wall or anything like that. It was the fact that I knew that when I walked into that weight room to come see you guys or hang out with you guys or when we worked out at the gym there, I knew that when I walked in, I was going to contribute to something that you guys were building. And I was like, damn right. And I got another buddy of mine on board, and then that's when all hell broke loose, and I was like, okay, I'm not, like, I can't see myself doing that. Has nothing, like, we'll always be boosters for the university here.
For sure.
We always will.
We all still support the university.
Yeah, I mean, because at the end of the day, it's about the kids.
Right.
And
Correct.
We've had many talks about this. Like, it's about giving back to the student athletes who need it. Ultimately, they're the ones who benefit from everything that we do there. So the baseball guys, like, all those guys are still fucking awesome dudes. So, I mean, we'll always continue to get back. But, that move was going to be big time for me. That was going to be a big, big thing for me on the inside that meant a lot to me that, unfortunately isn't going to happen now.
And then when we left, like I said, there was certain people who didn't understand what we felt like we had done for the last 2.5, 3 years. Said, hey, you think Don's gonna still donate money for that? And at that point, I just threw my hands up in the air. I was like, this is why I made the decision I made.
Yeah.
I actually got when you talk about community, one of the stories, do you remember, just to give you an overview of, like, obviously we didn't do it for the praise or anything, but just our reach and just our energy. Remember when the school cop pulled you over or pulled up behind you and Ben was like, oh shit, like, did I do something? He got out, went to the front of his car, was like, hey man, I saw that squat. You all doing Squat-tober this year? I was like, he comes into Leland
I know
once
who
a
you're talking
week.
about.
Yeah, he always asks, but like ever since then, he would just walk into the weight room and he's with his full uniform on, just like, I just want to see what y'all doing today in here, man. Like, when Ben told me that, like, he literally, I don't know if he pulled him over, like, pulled up behind him and just to, like, a cop gets out of his car, like, what am I doing? I'm on campus, just to ask, hey man, I saw that squat. I see y'all doing Squat-tober. I was like, that's how at least we're doing something right, in the bigger picture. And he comes, I talk to him every day. He walks into the store in Leland, and he follows all of us still. He's like, man, I see y'all squat. I see y'all, man. He's like, man, I missed that, man. He's like, because he goes in there, so he's like, it's not the same. I was like, I know, man, but yeah, that was a funny story.
That's what I'm talking about, though. Like, you can't buy that.
No.
That's priceless.
No.
You can't put a price to that. I don't know, man. We can go on and tell war stories all freaking day long, but
Yeah.
Well, John, you're going to Seattle, man. So you're breaking up the full Horsemen, man. What are we gonna do? We got to plug Scotty in your place now.
There you go. I mean,
You got a lot more tattoos to put on too.
yeah.
That's a lot.
Got to put on a little bit of weight there too, Scott.
Those are big shoes to fill. You
I
gotta-
mean, it's a 2XL shirt here. I'm just saying.
That's a lot of egg rolls you're gonna have to put down for that. Yeah.
Did you ever pull 600?
I don't. Pretty close.
I was gonna say you're gonna have to pull 600 and squat 600.
Oh. I mean, I can't either anymore, probably. Well, maybe at the end of Squat-tober, we'll see. But
Let's come right around the corner.
We saw Polo. I'm sure the Polo. Y'all will be right there with me for this 5-day, 3,000-mile road trip that we're about to go on. So
What's the trek on that? Have you mapped that out yet?
45 hours.
45 hours, yeah. No sweat.
But we're going like the Nashville, like St. Louis. We're going north and then like straight across like Montana.
So you're like, all right, Nashville hot chicken. All right, where are we gonna go? All right, we get a little.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
St. Louis. All right, we get a little barbecue
I mean,
up
how many
here. Like
times
you're
are we
just
gonna
Dude,
drive
you've got to
across the
map
country?
this out and stop at
Yeah.
places.
only.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
you're
yeah.
only
'Cause it's-
doing this
yeah.
by food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
To make
rightfully,
that
rightfully
drive-
so.
It's only going to happen one. It's not going to happen too many times. I mean,
Right.
how many times are you going to drive 3,000 miles?
Yeah.
So yeah, like definitely Nashville is one of our stops.
No McDonald's stops along the way. Like
I'm
only,
gonna need a
only
picture.
local
Snack, I
spots.
mean-
Yeah.
I'm gonna need a picture in front of Busch Stadium. You got to stop in the city, walk down there, and take a picture, and get back in your car.
Yeah, we'll do it. Like
Emo's Pizza.
I could also see Big John like stopping and be like, "Oh, there's Busch Stadium over there, but oh, Budweiser across the street."
Yeah. Sierra
Yes.
looks like we're gonna have to put a pause on this.
Yeah.
Brewery
Just add
tour?
another
Okay.
day onto
Okay.
the trip.
just tell your new job the car broke down. We'll be there.
Are you
in a
guys
few days.
taking separate cars? How's that working?
Yeah, so I was gonna sell my car, and that kind of everything happened so quick. Yeah, we're gonna kind of convoy it because we still got to lug
Who
our
gets
stuff
the
and
German
Champ.
Shepherd? Who gets to ride?
We're
with
gonna
the
all we
German
talked about that
Shepherd?
yesterday. We're gonna alternate.
Yeah.
He's not bad, but after like a few hours, he just starts going crazy.
Hairs
So,
start floating in the car.
yeah, fur balls. And,
Oh,
yeah, so he's
sir.
yeah. It'll be an adventure if nothing else, and because she won't like that I called her out on this, but like she's never lived outside North Carolina, and I want to give her that too, like to explore because I've lived all over the world. I've been fortunate enough to live in Germany, Korea. I've been in the Middle East. I've been most of the country here. So like, yeah, like let's do it. Like we have nothing necessarily tying us down, So
Dude, I'm all about it, man. I mean, I remember when Yvonne and I left St. Louis. Granted, we knew what we were going to do, but we didn't know a damn person here. We knew nobody.
So I have a question about where was the level of, because it wasn't Clean Eats yet at that point.
No, we hadn't even formed the brand yet.
So you guys moved here with an idea, or you already had like the space in the cafe kind of
Well, we had Locale Cafe.
Locale Cafe?
Same exact same concept, different name. And then we went to Atlantic City because it was a timeshare thing that Yvonne had that we had to use up or we were going to lose it. And so after we had already made the transaction, we owned the restaurant, everything, but it was before we moved here permanently. Mm-hmm. We went to Atlantic City for 4 days. And I want to say it was in December-ish. I don't remember the exact time. I know it was cold. It was colder than balls. And we were both dieting for a show. So we had to do cardio, and we had to get some sort of workout in at some point. Well, you've been to Atlantic City, I'm sure. There ain't a gym there.
No.
So we were doing cardio on the beach at night in the cold.
In December. Perfect.
So we were running up and down the beach. We were doing all this crazy, goofy stuff. But we were basically holed up in this condo in Atlantic City. The weather was miserable. Rainy, gloomy, windy for 4 days straight.
Hell of a vacation.
And we had a cooler, big, long cooler full of all of our meals that we had prepped. There was cold fish. So you can imagine what that condo smelled like on day 3. So we literally sat there with our cheap old computers. We didn't have Macs at the time, and we designed the logo, our menus, all of the branded stuff that like we have professionally done now. We did it on like, I don't know, some sort of like, what do they call that? No, it was some sort of design program where you could do it, but it was like the graphics were terrible. Like they were so pixelated. Our logo was stretched out. We had a wasabi crap wrap instead of crab because we misspelled it. And we printed like 2,000 menus and we didn't have the money to reprint them. So like when we got here, man, we did it old school and we did it all of ourselves and we didn't know anybody. We didn't have much money. Like I think we had maybe 10, 15 grand in our bank account when we actually moved here and was getting the business going.
Yeah.
So like all the stuff that we had that was ours, we brought it with us. I don't know if you ever remember eating at Clean Eats in the very beginning and you saw that big, long, goofy ass like burrito prep line thing.
Oh yeah, the original.
So that was a custom piece of equipment that I hauled here in a car trailer. It took 9 guys to get it in the door. I had to take the door off the hinges. Luckily, the construction company that's across the parking lot there, those guys were standing outside. And I walked over there and like basically begged them. I was like, I'll give you a week's worth of meals, man, if you guys can help me get this in there. And they were so cool. They were like, hell yeah, man, we ain't got nothing else to do. Took this thing off. 9 guys had to carry it in there. I had to take the front counter loose from the floor and move it. So it was basically a permanent fixture in there until just like a year or so ago. I finally cut it out and remodeled it. But like I was going with that, we brought all of our pots, all of our paint, like all of that shit. We had to make do with what we had because we didn't have money to go buy it all. But coming full circle, and what the whole point of me telling you all this was, I can get down with what you're doing because I've done it. And I appreciate anybody that has the testicular fortitude to do that on a whim, not knowing what your next move is.
Yeah.
It takes balls.
So, like, the funny thing, if you think about the 4 of us, is you moved with Yvonne from St. Louis to a place that you really had no idea about. Kyle most recently took his Florida girl to the place that he was familiar with, but she had never really been out of the state of Florida too much.
Yeah.
I took a girl from Boca Raton to Manhattan, Kansas. I mean, now you're taking, Sierra from North Carolina all the way across the country. I mean, yeah, we laugh and we joke that, like, about our friendship and call ourselves the Four Horsemen, but, like, there's so many similarities about us that, like, it's rubbed off on each other. And I think that's why our wives and girlfriends have, like, got along, because they've gone through the same kind of experiences together.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree totally.
Very similar to what you said. Like, Sierra, yeah, it was kind of a whim. I'm not gonna lie. This all, like, a month ago we were talking about it, and then we leave next week. Our house is empty. We sold everything. Our TVs, our beds, our plates, our cut. Like, we sold everything. But
NFL jerseys,
yeah. But it like you said, we're all kind of cut from the same fabric, meaning that no matter what, like, if I have $5, if I have $1 million, if I'm in Seattle, if I'm in Korea, I'm gonna figure it out, And that Sierra, at first, she was like, I don't know, like, she, we were both had our what ifs and our doubts about it, but I told her, I was like, look, like I've told you before, and I tell you all the time, like, yeah, I want to be a strength coach. I'm going to be a strength coach. But I'm not above going to plunge toilets if I have to. I'm not above laying bricks if I have to lay bricks for a while. If I have to go work at Amazon warehouse or whatever it is to get moving, and then over time something will come. I mean, now I'm 31 years old. I finally have a bachelor's degree. I mean, thank God they don't put your age on there or the date you completed it. It doesn't matter.
It's okay.
But I mean, to a lot of people, that's not a big deal. But to me, it was, because I didn't have any of those opportunities coming out of high school. I went straight into the military. I never in a million years thought I would have a bachelor's degree, just because, I mean, I know I look very intelligent. I'm very smart. I'm not. but my thing is, I just feel like I work hard as I can, because I have to make up for not being able to calculate chemistry and math and all that stuff. But in the end of the day, like, and that's what I've learned from all you three, like, it doesn't matter, because we'll be all right, because I'll figure it out. Like, we'll never be homeless. We'll never be, dead broke on the street, because I'll do whatever I need to do to support her and our 90-pound monster. So
I'm calling it now. You guys want to make a bet?
Uh-oh.
I'm going to say within the next 12 months, Jon and Sierra are going to go from Seattle. They're going to go right up into Alaska. We won't hear from Jon for him for like 6 months. And then out of nowhere, he's going to Marco Polo us, and he's going to have a big old, like, beard, flannel.
I was thinking the same thing. He's going to have a beard.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like you can't go out there and not have a beard.
Yeah. We'll
Beard,
be flipping through the channels.
flannel. He'll have like a.
He'll be on National Geographic on Below Zero.
He'll have like a Ridgeback dog, and they'll be living in some shack on the side of a mountain with walkie-talkies, and he'll be like, "When y'all coming out?"
Oh, man. I mean, well, not everybody knows this, but as you guys know, we plan on kind of doing that anyway. We're going to buy a camper.
Yeah. Camper life.
Live in the camper, and because obviously we've never been to the West Coast, and we want to see, hey, if Seattle is not it, what about Portland? What about Utah? What about Montana? Like, and really the only way you really know if you want to live there is you have to live there. You can vacation somewhere and be like, oh, this is great, but that's not real life. Like, so yeah, we were gonna do it here. Like, we went and like I got prices on trucks. We spent 2 days looking at travel trailers and like everything we want. We went through the financing, the whole nine. This all happened so quick. But yeah, we're planning on doing the camper life. And hey, if we don't like it here, let's go up into the mountains for a year or so and see how we like that. No, let's go down south. So why not?
He'll be a Canadian in a year.
Whoa! I don't know about that.
That's one thing I don't see.
I don't know about that. I don't know if you've seen this. I love me some America. So
No. I mean, he'll be the American patriot that moves up into the backwoods of Canada and like
Lives off bear.
he's like like an internal spy somewhere up in the woods when he sees the. That's good shit. Well, Jon, I can't thank you for everything that you've done for us. I know that you're moving, but I know it ain't goodbye. We'll be up there to see you
for sure.
You'll be back here, so. But I don't know. I thought it'd be cool to get the four of us together, shoot the shit, talk about some culture and relationships type stuff that basically has formed this friendship that we've got. So.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate everything you've done for me and Sierra as well. Like, especially when obviously we all left. You know, Ben and was, hey, come work for Cleans, and then Don was like, yeah, like come on, whatever you need. And yeah, it wasn't some crazy thing, but to me, it really, for in a tough spot we were, because I wasn't making any money at the time because I was just an intern, and then I just graduated, so it's kind of like this awkward time. And you were right there to pick me up and say, hey man, come run Leland for me. And I do respect the fact that when I literally sat across your desk right here, and you were like, no, this is not your long-term thing. Like, and I can respect that, especially from someone that's trying to expand their business. And you brought Ben on, that's exploding, and brought Kyle on, that's exploding his departments and all that kind of stuff. For you to tell me that, I was like, wow, like, I don't want to sit here and say, no, I don't want to work for you, but you saw that, what I was trying to do in the bigger picture, and still to say like, hey, I respect that. Come work for me until you figure it out. I'll always love you and I'll always respect that, and I really appreciate you for that. So
Sure.
We're gonna miss it.
Yeah. You guys want to sing Kumbaya or something?
I think this is good. I think this is this.
So we're not gonna hold hands.
This is gonna be an interesting one.
All right, we got a workout to get to. Till next time.